Hey, Freedom team. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited to have our guest on today, who is truthfully one of my most favorite people in the whole wide world. Beyond the fact that she's brilliant, has helped me with my own mindset stuff. So she is my coach. She is one of my closest friends, and she is truly one of the most talented and gifted coaches that I have ever met.
I should hang around here more often.
Right? I'm going to lift you up, girl.
Seriously, game on. Good morning to you.
And she didn't pay me to say any of that. No, in all seriousness, she truly has this amazing way of helping you get out of the own muck that's in your head. Now, truthfully, I have been doing an enormous amount of work in between my ears for several years now. It is something that mindset to me, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. We were just talking about this before the interview. To me, mindset is truly one of the most important components of moving your business or even your life into gear. You could have all the tools, all the marketing, all the stuff, and without that mindset piece, you're probably going to kind of keep spinning your wheels. Now, before this gorgeous woman starts to talk, I want to tell you about her so you know why to listen up as she talks. Shari is a mindset coach and a creative business strategist. She helps her clients ditch their Groundhog Day living and find their unique path and voice to live a maverick, unleashed life in all their areas. And she's going to tell you what that means. Shari works with high-achieving entrepreneurs who are feeling stuck and unfulfilled in their work and projects to find the unique blend of motivation, creative strategy, and pop to scale and love their work instead of I created a monster that owns me kind of way, which I fully understand. It's that headspace where it's like, oh, it's this beast. So she helps shift them into gear, into loving what they do. Shari hosts her podcast, Mavericks in Motion, which is amazing, and The Shambles Show, also amazing. Shari's unique zone of genius is helping people find their creative spark, their passion, and their individuality to fuel success and fulfillment in life and business. She does the deep work right alongside you to uncover where you went off track, where you want to be, and how to build your own bridge to a creative business on your terms and a vibrantly colorful life. Equipped with a selfless and nurturing side mixed with a crazy rebel spirit. Yes, she is. She has turned her passion into the pursuit to help others find their deepest purpose and talents, which she turned into a business. And Shari believes that with the right Sherpa, every person has the potential to uncover and rediscover whom they once were before they lost their individuality. And with that magnetism from within, success is inevitable the Maverick way. Now, that is probably the most right-on bio. Speaking from experience, I know I'm living the Maverick way, baby. So Shari has this method, vision, that we all need to live this maverick life. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. Hello, Freedom team. I'm very excited to be here and to help you. I'm very honored to not only be friends with Kate, Coach Kate, be part of the world, and adore everything that you all stand for. So I feel really honored to be here because I'm particular about the spaces I hang out in, and this is my kind of crowd. So thank you. So the Maverick thing, I'm going to explain a bit. I'm going to go back about where it came from so that I want people to understand that this isn't more work to do. It actually helps you do the right kind of work. So I am a big proponent as a mindset coach as well as a creative strategist about finding creative ways out of what feels like it's not working. Now, most of us as people, both in our lives and business, because I don't believe that life and business function separately, they scaffold together. One is always a mirror of the other. If we focus too hard on work, our life falls apart. If we focus too hard on our life, we don't really have much of a business to talk about. And I don't believe in balance. So it's a lot of juggle of, well, how do I know who I'm supposed to be all the time? And my business needs me to be this, and my family needs to be this. And this is where we get locked up. So this is where the Maverick piece comes in. I work a lot with archetypes. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's a whole nother training, which I'm happy to do on here. Archetypes are simply, let's just break it down to regular words, finding that inner superhero, finding that inner, like Todd Herman would call it, your alter ego. I call it a superhero. Who is that amplified version of you who knows the answers, who knows what to do, who knows how to move your butt out of stuckness and who shines in every area. Maybe it means loving your family more. Maybe it means exercising and taking care of your body better. Maybe it means turning up for an interview for your business and actually rocking it when you were scared in the car you weren't going to do this. So the archetype that I have found that has helped my clients and myself, because it worked for me first, is really the maverick. What this maverick piece is, the dictionary definition is someone who is unorthodox, out of the box, unique, free-spirited, and really lives life on their own terms. Now, I want to note, although I am rebellious by nature since the day I was born, this is not about being a rebel, because you see so many marketers talking about rebellion and disruption, and I get it. But we also have to admit we're human beings and we like to march in line, even when we pretend that we don't. So we'll leave our corporate jobs, we'll leave our place where people tell us what to do, and then we'll go embark on our own and we'll step out into the world with our beautiful passion and vision, and then we feel really alone. And that's why people join an amazing space like this, because we can't go at it alone. We're not wired. Our brains are not wired for that. It makes us more scared and fearful, which makes us do the opposite of what we need to do, which is take action and step out in the world and create what we truly want and own that. Mm-hmm. So a maverick is someone who sometimes walks by themselves and sometimes walks with other mavericks, who sees beauty in everyone's free-spiritedness. I don't need to be right to make you wrong. I don't need to be defiant. I don't need to be an outlier. I can be a team player. A maverick is someone who just takes their unique spin and almost supplements the world with the beautiful way that they do things. So you and I don't always have to agree, but I can see your brilliance, you can see my brilliance, and together it becomes this amplified way of changing the world, like a Freedym crowd does. You've got tons of people in here who do different things, the same things. One person's question sparks a conversation that gives someone else a solution because they were willing and open. So this maverick way is saying, how can I actually be a functioning member of society, of entrepreneurship, of family, of the world, of religions, of governments, of cultures, of races, and also be an individual? So we don't have to pick one or the other. And through that, we get to turn that up in our business, and suddenly our message is ours. Our beliefs are ours. We don't have to be always polarizing. I don't want to be on the edge all the time telling people what they should and shouldn't do. I want you to do what you want to do, and I want to help you do that even more. And I want you all to feel that your business can do that in its own maverick way. So that's really why Maverick actually simplifies everything that needs to be done in your business.
And I think that's the biggest piece of all of it is building up this confidence to actually be the person who you're meant to be in your life and your business. You know, sometimes, you know, one of the exercises she put me through, which was it's good, but you know, we did this exercise. We had to label. You know, you had to put labels on what I've been to this point. And it's a hard exercise in the sense that once you look at your labels, you're like, whoa, but where am I in this whole little label process? And it was just an interesting way to walk through. You know, you go, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a student, I'm a daughter, I'm a whatever. And then all of a sudden you go, but I have this drive, this stirring in my soul, this thing I want to do. And that's really the maverick way too, is to be able to step forward and be like, I'm going to talk how I'm going to talk. I'm going to write how I want to write. And the beauty of running your business the maverick way is that all of a sudden your people start to come to you because you're like waving your flag and they're like, oh, there they are. That's where I'm supposed to be. I have a place to be, which is amazing. So
and it makes it less confusing because I think, especially for people who came from the corporate world, but even if you didn't, society does this to us in schooling. So by about age 10, if you're lucky, you make it that far, we're taught that what you think needs to be tabled or put in a back seat or put back in your backpack or put away till after school or only taken out at lunch or only with certain people. And then, you know, people say, well, I don't have labels. Well, you do. You just don't talk about them. So the reason that exercise is so key is because what happens is we carry all of this stuff. Our fear, our overwhelm, our doubt, our beliefs, our patterns, our labels, and then we try to build a business on top of them. And then we wonder why we can't get out of our own way or why we get very drained by showing up in our business because it isn't really us. As soon as we can find out who we are, why we believe in it so much, why we want to help people, turn the passion on, and lower that, I don't know who I'm supposed to be, I don't know the role here, make your own role. That's why people can find us, because they want more of that. They want who you are all the time. Anyone who speaks to me knows if you go out for coffee with me, you're getting the same person that coaches you. I'll be up on stage in front of 600 people in another country like I was a few months ago. I got off the stage. I'm the same person. It makes it less exhausting for me. I tried that whole dual life, who I am in my business. I'm a single mom of 2 kids. I grew up religious Jewish. Like, I've got a lot of roles too. If I compartmentalized who I am in all of them, I'd be scared to get up in the morning. Honestly, I'm as human as you are. I would say, oh no, which hat do I have to wear today? What am I allowed to say where? What did I say yesterday? What did I tell them to believe in me that I don't know if I believe in myself? There's a reason why showing up is scary. And it's not only because of visibility. Visibility is when we don't know who we are, then how could we go tell other people? I'm scared to say it to the mirror, let alone someone who's going to pay me to do this with them.
Right. And that brings up the next thing where we were just talking about this interview. There's something that struck. I read this very powerful passage in a book last night that sort of took my breath away about readiness and feeling ready. And when do you know when it's time to be ready? And I used to think when I first started out, in entrepreneurship, when you first start, you're like, oh, it's easy, right? It's got to be easy.
Come on, I have no rules. I'm my own boss.
Yeah, I got a computer. I can do this all day long. Then you get into it and you're like, holy crap, this is really hard. And what happens is, this is at least the way I saw it initially, was that I saw myself and all us, newbies in business. And then I saw the people that were having these massive successes. And I felt like there was this massive canyon between us where it was like, well, they must have something really special if they're that successful. And I can't compete with that because they're really, really successful. And there's this massive gap between us. And then as I've been in this longer, and as I'm watching myself grow, and I'm starting to hear stories of these massive success people, there really isn't this huge canyon, and there really isn't anything they're doing so magic. Now, obviously, there are some that are, gifted and whatever, but for the most part, there isn't a big difference between us and the people really successful, except for the fact that they don't let their headspace get in the way.
1,000%.
We all get stuck in it. We all have headspace stuff. Even the ones that are really successful, they'll say there's days where it's just really hard. But what the big difference is, there's the people that wallow in it, pity party Netflix, peanut butter on spoons.
That actually sounds tempting.
In all fairness, I did that last week. I was trying to muck through something in a project, and I was just like, you know what? I'm so stuck in this. I need to pull myself out of it, because if I don't pull myself out of it and give myself a break, I'm going to stay in it.
Yep.
I've learned enough to know along the way that you could stay in that pity party all you want and not put yourself into action. Or you can still be scared to death or uncertain, but you move. And I think that's the big thing that people don't realize. There's people like, well, I can't do it because of X, Y, Z. That's not the truth, right?
So I have so much to say about it. So first thing,
I knew you would.
I always have so much to say about anything. You guys will get to know that about me.
Yeah, but this is really, I think this is a really, really big piece that people don't see.
It's massive. So the first thing I want to say about it is I agree with everything that Kate said, which I generally do, except I'm going to disagree on one thing. They are not the same as us. Some of them feel even worse than us. And I'll tell you.
Wow.
Because they've got thousands of people watching them.
Interesting.
Got teams who are backing them, who are waiting for them to show up. Because they've got so much skin in the game, because they've reached income levels that they then need to sustain, they've got more at stake, which makes their minds even more scared of us. We're scared because you're starting out, it's like, 30 people are going to watch my live. 2 of them are my mother and my father. They've got thousands of people waiting for them to show up. Imagine what their monkey mind, what their scared part of their brain is chewing on them. That's like tons of peanut butter that would combat that level of fear.
Great point.
And then that whole imposter syndrome of everyone's got me on a pedestal. There are people crying at the edge of a stage. Yeah. Millions of people buy my books. And then in the morning, I still don't want to get out of my bed. The responsibility of carrying other people's energy and belief and confidence is really scary when you're scared yourself. Yeah. So I will argue they're even more scared than we are. So if anything, they wish they were on our side of the canyon sometimes.
Yeah.
So there are 3 pieces here that I want to hit on to explain what makes this little bridge that we need to build of belief to say, As magical as they are, so are we. You are just as brilliant. And I will say, out of New Jersey honesty here, there are lots of people who have more success than you do who aren't as good at what you do. And that's hard to look at. And it actually is one of the triggers that a lot of my clients come to me and say, that bozo doesn't even know what I do, or they're 22 years old and they just blew right by me. It's because of their belief in themselves. This is a private group, so I will divulge. I have a crazy ex-husband. My ex-husband does very well in business, and he is not a smart person, but his utter delusional belief in himself is something that I've studied, because I was like, how does that guy who isn't bright, who isn't nice, who isn't kind, go get, like, karmically, that shouldn't make any sense. Like, wait a second, whoever's up there, universe, God, whatever, how does that make any sense? Not real. It doesn't decipher between good and bad. Belief is just a driver, and it will move you through where you need to go, period, the end, whether you're right or wrong, which means if you've got a gift and you are not out there in the world, you have a responsibility to the gift that you were given and the brilliance that you have and the training that you went through to go out in the world, because those people who could be your clients are believing and investing in somebody else because you were scared to step up. Right. And that is what made me get out of my own way. I'm like, wait a second, I'm leaving people in pain because I'm stuck in my own muck. That's not fair. That's not what I'm here for. So there are three things I want people to really understand here. So we've got the acceptance of I'm a human being and I'm going to feel like this. And unfortunately, although I wish I could tell you that you get your card once when you go through this and the next time it's not like that, the cycle happens again. You get to your next level of growth. I'm at that point and Kate knows that. I'm in the same fear that I was before I had no clients than when all of a sudden I get off a stage of 600 people, because I'm the same me. Yeah. So this is something devils. Everybody has fear. Only psychopaths do not have fear. So there's nobody that doesn't have fear before they do anything, something small or something big, no matter what your measurement is. So being aware of it is very key, to say it's okay that I have this, and not but, and not what if, and I still get to move. Right. Fear and excitement in our body is actually the same emotion. Chemically, it causes the same reaction. So it's, what are you going to believe in that belief? Are you going to let the fear stop you, or going to say, ooh, look at me, I just hit on something I haven't done before, so I must have hit a ceiling. What happens if I go a little further? Now, I'm not saying freak yourself out. I personally don't believe in quantum leaps. I don't think they're emotionally healthy for our neurology, for our chemistry, for our brain, for our safety. We're not wired for big leaps because the rubber band snapback is very scary. But if you can test your own boundary and get out of the comfort zone and try something and say, A, I didn't die, B, it worked, C, it didn't work, what lesson can I learn to do it better next time? The playfulness and curiosity comes back. That's where the maverick comes in place, and said, ooh, that was like a little bit of a thrill. I'm not a roller coaster person, but roller coaster people love that thrill. I like the thrill of emotionally testing myself. Some people like it physically. So if you're a physical tester, go on a roller coaster and then jump on a live. Go on a roller coaster and then cold call somebody. So figure out where outside of your business you like to test yourself, because everyone does. Maybe it's going to a concert and dancing. Maybe it's asking someone new out. Maybe it's trying new foods, traveling to new places. We do have a sense of adventure. We just haven't brought it into our business yet. So go find that sense of adventure that you have somewhere else in the world. Remember what it feels like for you, and then capture those feelings and apply it to your business. When have you been scared of something that you then turned into excitement, that you then rocked and then high-fived yourself? We need to tap into those experiences. So we have got awareness. Number 2, we've got ownership. I want you to own your peanut butter days. If you don't allow yourself to feel the fear, to run through the process, then you create monsters that hide in the closet, and you build up this fear to something that is so much bigger than would actually ever do if you tried and failed. You've disasterized it, like you're going to be tarred and feathered naked in a village. No one cares if you flop on a live stream. No one cares if you put an offer out and it doesn't work. No one cares if you launch and it didn't work. I will tell you open and honestly, I've had stuff that has sold out in minutes, and a few months later, I've had launches that flop. I'm still the same me. I'm still the same success. There's something there for me to tweak. So maybe there's an audience something. Maybe there was an energy something with me, if maybe I pushed too hard. All we get is data. So if we could separate the drama from the data and give ourselves the time to mourn, rest, be pissed off, be angry, be scared, none of us stay in it that long. Have you ever watched a child have a fit when they're not being responded to? They get pissed off. I mean, supermarket 101, when you're a parent, if you ignore them, it ain't going to go away.
No.
If you gently say, are you hungry? Are you tired? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Do you not like the store? Do you want to be doing something else? As soon as you give voice to a fear and a frustration, you'll get an answer back, and then it calms down. So allow yourself the few hours of moaning at your best friend.
Right.
Allow yourself to go to your coach, your accountability buddy, and bitch and moan about everyone you hate and everything. Do not hold it in. Positivity is bullshit. I don't know if you're allowed to curse in here, but I curse, so sorry.
Go for it, baby.
If we have this fake, and I'm a coach, guys, I've been trained in this stuff. I don't believe in fake positivity. It causes a mismatch and a misalignment in what our feelings. We're not acknowledging what we feel, and then we cause a bigger problem because you've got your mind over here and your desires over here. They've got to go, because wired 101, the way we are, we will never do anything that doesn't match our self-belief. So if our self-identity is someone who can only hit here, I don't care how successful your idea is, you won't hit it because you don't believe you can. So we've got to scale this belief. So why don't we change the word from mindset to performance? Because suddenly we feel like we could do something about it. That's what the successful people do. How am I performing? Am I being optimal? What do I need to tweak? Do I need a day off? Do I need a massage? Yeah. Do I need a coach to work this out with me? Do I need to go for a run? Do I need to look at the plan and look at the data? Do I need a peanut butter day? Those peanut butter days are the same as a rest day for an Olympic athlete. If they don't rest, they're not Olympic level anymore.
You can't keep pushing. You can't.
They will get injured. They won't make good choices. Right. They will have fear running their minds. Any athlete that you will speak to will tell you that your rest days, and any athlete who tries to push through you will tell you what they did when they didn't do it. Right. Consider it your rest time. It's your refuel time. Allow the Netflix binge. Put a limit on it. Say, I need a day, and then I'll check in with myself. After a day, if you're sitting in your stuff too much, shift to neutral. Don't go to positive. What would be neutral? Playing with your puppy, going out with a friend, changing your environment, changing your state, turning on music. You know, there are lots of tools that I can give you, because we all know you can't resist your favorite song. You can't resist your playlist from high school. You can't resist hugging your favorite person or going and eating your favorite food. As much as we want to grip onto the anger, we really want to let it go. So let yourself sit in it, get to neutral, do the allowance and the ownership. This is mine, and I'm choosing to sit in it, and I am loving this moan today, and then it won't last as long. And
truthfully, sometimes the answer comes.
Generally, the answer comes.
Right? When it probably you never know, maybe you don't even realize it, but sometimes when you just put it down for a second, you go for a walk, you go to the grocery store, and all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, I know what I'm supposed to do.
All of my ideas come in the shower because it's the one time I'm not watching the flicking light on the computer and I need to solve this, I need to solve this. You don't have all the answers. So whether you're more the spiritually inclined and feel like there's something bigger at you at play out there, cool. That's not your thing, then go to the collective. Look at what's worked, what inspires you. What are the people who have achieved what you want? How do they run their day? How do they brainstorm things? They all talk about it. Google them and listen to any podcast interview that you have on that person. Yep. They'll tell you what works, but most of us only pay attention to their wins. Right. We don't want to be, they're human, and they pay attention to what the people that you're inspired by talk about of what happens when things didn't work. Yeah. They'll tell you that their biggest successes came after their worst failures. They'll tell you about their lowest days. So we need to know that these pockets of disbelief are where our growth come from. Yeah. So the last piece of this trio here is the perspective of, instead of sitting in disaster, what if you asked yourself a better what if question? What if this was when everything changed? Right. What if this is when I found the answer? What if this is when my ideal clients came because I stopped speaking to the wrong people? What if will lead you to a better space of, it's a bad day, not a bad life. Right. It's a bad launch, not a bad business. It's a bad cash flow thing, not a bad financial situation. You lower the fire on what you have to make, where meaning-making beings. Animals don't have this. We do. We're so lucky to be such evolved animals that we can drive ourselves mad. Now, our brains are wired to believe whatever story we tell it, whether it's true or not. So if you start wiring a success story in your brain every morning, telling it, and whether you like to journal or not, then while you're on your run, just visualize what would success be. As big or as small as you feel ready to do, and play that tape over and over again, it replaces the tape of everything sucks, I can't do this, nothing ever works. Then you won't keep perpetuating the same vulnerable place that you ask for the bad results. So the perspective of, how can I take this and turn it on its side and see it from a different way? Even if I can't believe it right now, it's as true as what the story you're telling yourself now is also, because it's just a belief story.
I love it. So let's do it again. Awareness,
ownership, and perspective.
Love it. Now,
and it makes it something tangible of not my mind and my life are owning each other. I'm in lockdown, so I'm just going to hide here with my peanut butter. I have a choice. I could believe it and sit in it. I could change it. I could say, I'm not ready to change. I had this last week. I'm not ready to change it. I'm not ready to give up being annoyed at this lunch that didn't go the way I wanted to. I'm going to sit in it for a little bit more. You know, ironically, I ended up doing a rant on my Facebook wall, which I don't usually do. I'm ranty, but more passionate. Yeah. I went full rant. I was cursing like a
She did.
Driver. And you know what's funny? It helped me find the answers of where I wanted to move in my business.
Yeah.
I got 75 private messages of people who said, me too, I'm so happy you said this. And I was playing too nicey nice, even though I'm a maverick and I say what I want. I fell into my own trap of what I didn't believe. And the anger and frustration actually brought up the fire again. And in that fire, people are now watching again on the specific thing that they need help with that I forgot to help them with. And I've been doing this for 6 years, and I have what other people would on paper call success. And I'm very lucky to work with big people. I've got the same stuff that all of you do have. So turning on my fire actually solved my problem. If I stayed sad, I would have not found the answer that I needed.
It's the lessons. You have to take the lessons. The biggest piece too from these big successful people is, you said it before, don't look at something that didn't go right and be like, don't look at it from the negative perspective. Take and be like, and again, I think it's in Marie Forleo's book that we're both reading. What can I learn from this?
Yes.
Like what, and you know what? And that's not an easy exercise to do, right? It's not like you can be like, oh, this thing flopped or this thing didn't work, and then say, well, okay, now I understand why. It's an honest conversation with yourself you have to have about listening. But I can guarantee, and Shari could probably say this too, is if you do that, if you say this didn't go well because, however, what I learned was, you're going to start taking these leaps because now you know what to fix. At least you know what to attack. You know, it's
so
like,
what I have my clients do is split a piece of paper, and we have a data column, a drama column, and a win column.
I love that.
I used to have it as lessons, but it wasn't different enough from the drama because the drama leaks over to the lessons category. So it's start with the data. Let's just take it.
Right.
Did it totally flop? No. Well, 5 people signed up. Well, then it didn't totally flop. So we've got data here. Where's the drama? Well, I wanted 20, so it felt like a flop. Okay. And it's not there's no judgment. There's no judgment category on here. Let's take the data. What worked? Okay, I didn't promote as much as I could have. I didn't show up. I was a little bit shy about stuff, and I got 5 people. That's objective. Now, someone who's never had anyone would be like, that's a freaking win. You had 20 last time. It feels like a loss. Cool.
Right.
Drama. I'm pissed off. I hate everyone. Let it all out. Let it physically out. I call it a wins journal. I've got a journal separate from my happy journal where I get all of this dark stuff out so that it doesn't eat me alive. Yeah. And then we go to the wins. Well, 5 people wanted my stuff. And although other people didn't buy, I have a lot more people asking me questions. And the questions they ask me are now my new content for now I know what to create next. And now I've opened up conversations. And there are people who are now on my email list that weren't there before. And now I've got other audiences that I can say, hey, can we collaborate together and do a live together? So nothing is ever a full failure unless you quit that day. That is the only way you can fail, is if you close up shop. That's fail.
Yep. And that's a good way to like wrap this sucker up. So the last thing you could tell anyone. So let's say someone right now is sitting in this and being like, oh, I just feel so super stuck. What's one thing they can do to just kind of kick it into gear, even just the tiniest bit? What's the one little thing someone could do to kick it in?
So I want you to take a look at what it is you're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And this may sound negative, but I'm big on neutrality, not positive or negative. What about that big thing is making you feel shitty? Because that's what's going on. Sometimes it's just too big in that moment, self-included. If something's not going well, we automatically, as creative entrepreneurs, want to go jump to the next big high so that we can get ourselves out of feeling that's like, ooh, where's the next adrenaline hit? Instead, what's the next neutral hit that could feel really good?
Mm-hmm.
How can I go serve? Who needs me today? Who can I reach out to? Immediately go back into service, because as an entrepreneur, what you love doing is not measuring stuff. You love serving. Mm-hmm. So immediately go to neutral. What can I do today to get you back into what I do best? Right. Go back into your zone of genius and leave the results and the metrics and the KPIs and the ROIs to the side for a minute. Mm-hmm. How can I deliver today? Whether it's free, paid, I don't care. I don't care about that. What kind of conversation can you have? What environment can you be in that reminds you of your own genius and magic? And just let that be enough. I promise you, I guarantee you, that will change the feeling every single time.
Completely. Because if you stop loving what you're doing, it's really going to get worse. I mean, really, if you stop having fun.
What you are, mm-hmm. I don't like tech per se.
Mm-hmm.
By per se, I mean it all. So if I want to launch something and I've got an amazing masterclass I want to put out there, and I get all wrapped up in what's the webinar software, and I start watching on YouTube comparing 4 different webinar softwares. So I go get trials of all of them, and I now spend the next 14 days checking things and talking to their tech, and then, oh no, it doesn't go with my active campaign. I can very well forget why I started this in the first place, mm-hmm. and stop believing in, I've got some genius to teach in my masterclass. Right. Now, I'm not saying you can all go outsource it, but limit the time you spend away from your zone of genius. Make sure you revisit it. In the middle of your 14-day trials, make sure there's a day or two that you're just in full genius mode.
Yeah.
Just delivering, just serving. Then go back to, I'm finding solutions to reach more people. Mm-hmm. Reframe what you're not good at to help you see that it's going to help you put out in the world more of what you want.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And see, now Shari and I could talk about, literally we could be on here for weeks talking about mindset stuff, because we both know for sure how vital this is to moving yourself forward. Now, how can they find you if they want to find out all you're up to?
So I live on Facebook. The best way to find me is to come to my business page, which is Shari D. Teigman. I have a website. As you'll all see, it does not reflect my current me. It's my old website. I've been busy and serving, and I've not taken the time to redo my website. But if you want to know anything more about me, some of it's there, just old pictures and old copy, but website is ShariTeigman.com. I'm on Instagram, Shari D. Teigman. I am very reachable. You want to get to know me, send me a message on my Facebook page. You want to ask me a question, I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone. I learn from everybody that I speak to. I like souls, not people. I don't do small talk. So trust me, if there's something up for you and you're really curious, there's a lot of content on my page. I do a lot of Facebook Lives. I ask a lot of questions. I answer a lot of questions. Got all levels of programs, but the best way to get to know me and to really start to work on this stuff is really just come out, hang out with me on my page.
Yeah. And she has something I'll give all of us for free. What's our little opt-in they're going to get?
So something that a lot of my clients were struggling with is that getting stuck in the idea thing and then getting into action. I don't know if any of you can relate, but I have a feeling at least a percentage of you are nodding.
I mean,
well, how about this? Truth. I wrote it for myself, and then I shared it with my clients.
Right.
So I documented how I move myself into action, because I am pure creative. I am pure on the disc profile. I am pure quick starter in the Colby Index. Lots of entrepreneurs are. An action and follow through, and not really my forte, but there's lots of magic I want to put out in the world. So I have a Maverick Momentum Action Guide. So it helps you plan and take action. It's not very complicated. There's a couple of pages to it. It's just something that will help you figure out a different creative way to start your mornings, to set your calendars. I'm not Miss Schedule, so I have to go by how I feel. But there's also stuff that's got to get done and structure. You know, I can't be this diva that doesn't get anything done because I didn't feel like it that day. So I help you get into a better feeling state to actually get what you want done and take the pride of that. So it's called the Maverick Momentum Guide. Kate's going to include the link, and it will come straight to your inbox, and you can come play with me on there and get a few more action steps of like, okay, this is all great. Now what do I do tomorrow when I don't know what to do?
Right. Isn't she amazing? I love her. I could just sit here and watch her talk all day. I'm like a little fangirl, like, oh, tell me more. Shari, thank you so much, my love.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
All right, gang, you're going to see more of Shari. I promise. We're going to bring her back for more stuff. We're working on, we've got a little ideas brewing for you guys. But seriously, do me a favor today. Just pick one thing. Step into it. Own it. If you're afraid of it, keep going anyway. Have an amazing day, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.